All right, introduce yourself, man. Who we got here?
I go by the name of DJ Kazzeo, and a lot of people hate me, but that's just the price of being so great that I am.
Why would you say people hate you, man?
You know, people mistake my honesty and directness for quote-unquote hate. Like, oh, he's hating on us. Oh, you know, like if you are an artist and you ask me to listen to your music and give my thoughts, and then I give my thoughts, and you turn around and say, well, who cares what you think? You're just a hater. Well, then what's the point of you asking me for my thoughts? It's like if you're not going to be able to take criticism or constructive criticism, you know, the way it's meant to be, without you interpreting it as an attack on you, then you have no business being in the game.
Yeah, 100%.
Just my thought, you know.
Well,
I've dealt with that a lot.
Yeah.
Over the years, but you know, whatever. You know, I mean, I'm not going to compromise my integrity and my honesty just to appease somebody who needs to be coddled like a baby.
Yeah, exactly. I've worked with a lot of artists that like I'm not saying I don't like the way they rap, but they can do it better, and then they interpret it the wrong way and whatnot, and yeah, it's just tough, man. It's just tough.
Well, you know, it's not even necessarily always about how they're rapping. I think it's a lot of times how they professionally conduct themselves, and I see a lot of people just, you know, giving themselves bad looks, and they give the the way they present themselves. You would say they don't take themselves seriously.
Yeah.
So if you're in a business, and let's be honest, music is a business.
100%.
You know, I mean, at the end of the day, you want to sell your music.
Yep.
And if you're not taking yourself serious and you're presenting yourself like a joke, that's the way you're going to be interpreted as.
100%.
So,
100%.
You know, there are certain things that you can say, oh, I'm going to be a rebel and I'm going to do things my way and nobody's going to make me conform. Great, that's cool. But there are certain things that you just have to do. You in order to progress. You know, it's like they say the old saying, 2 steps back, 1 step forward.
Yeah.
Or, you know, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, whatever the phrase is. But it's like you got to give a little to get a lot.
Yeah, 100%.
So, you know.
Yeah. A lot of people, especially nowadays, I guess, because you could put your video out there and then you can get some views and people will let it get to their heads and whatnot, and then they don't take no constructive criticism. They're like already getting views and whatnot, and it's just like, I don't know. It's. I had a guy come in the studio and we're recording, and I'm like, "Hey, bro, your shit's off," and then I chop it up in the DAW, and then I make it line up, and I'm like, "Rap it like this," and he's all like, "No, you already did it. It's done." And I'm like, "No, bro, I'm not a magic thing, dude."
Yeah, see,
like I hear the cuts. You should work on that cadence and do it like that. And he's all like, "No, you already did it. Keep it. It's done." And I'm like, "No, bro, no, this is not how we're doing it."
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I come from the school of where, like, if you record music and you put it out, you go out and you promote it to radio.
Yeah.
And regardless of the level of the radio, commercial, community, college, whatever, you go out and you promote it. The younger generation now, they just figure, I'm going to record something, I'm going to put it on the internet, and that's how I'm going to become a star. Nobody wants to do the legwork anymore. So there's a lot of, and that leads to a lot of, again, like I said, unable to take criticism. They say, well, who needs you? I got, like you said, I got 1,000 views. Yeah, but nobody is hearing your song.
In the grand scheme of things, 1,000 views is nothing.
You know? When you see the residual checks that come from like Spotify and all those, and it's like literally like 20,000 downloads, 10 cents.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, can I curse on here?
No, of course. Okay, this is YouTube, bro. This is YouTube.
Yeah.
You know what? YouTube's actually cracking down on that. If you plan on doing a YouTube thing, the cursing has to be a minimum. And at least I think
Sorry, YouTube.
Right, I was reading the guidelines, and I think they're like, within the first 5 minutes, try not to curse, right?
Okay.
And then yeah.
Okay.
So yeah. So let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. So you're a DJ.
Yes.
You started when?
Well, let's see. Wow, we're going way back. I mean, probably before you were born.
Yeah, that's what I want to say. Yeah.
So,
I was born in '89.
Jesus Christ. Okay, so how it all started was, first I was a break dancer, and this was like in 82, 83. And as a break dancer at that time, you had to have the music.
Yeah.
So I was buying, all the records. And eventually, towards the end of 84, breaking started dying out. I said, well, I have all these records. And I was heavily influenced by a local legendary DJ, Bubba G. Scotch.
Yup.
R.I.P. Bubba G. Scotch.
He was on Grandma's Boy. Did the Grandma's Boy, I think, soundtrack. I think working on that.
So, towards the end of 84, when breaking's dying out, I said, okay, well, I need to transition. I have all these records. I got to start DJing. So I started learning how to DJ in the end of 84. And then in 86 is when I made my official public debut.
86.
I DJ'd at a classmate's graduation party. And then the week after that, I DJ'd at my junior high graduation. So that was my that was in May of 86 when I made my debut. But like I said, I'd been practicing since the end of 84.
Yeah.
So that's when I always say I started at the end of 84. And then for years throughout high school doing mobile DJing, house parties, dances, whatever, birthday parties, etc. And around 91, I started working with a record pool. Now, what a record pool was, record labels would send records to regional distributors, and aka record pools. And the record pools would have like a clientele of like 30 or 40 DJs in that market. And they would distribute the records, get feedback, and send that back to the labels so the labels could, know what's working and what's not working, etc. So I started doing that in 91. And because of that, I started knowing, I had already known a lot of the DJs in the area. But I started knowing at a higher level the DJs, like, working on radio and stuff. So I started regularly going to 88.1 KZSC, where my man Jason D had a hip-hop show. And I started hanging out on his show all the time. Like every week I was there. And he started letting me, I would answer phones. I would, talk on the air here and there. So finally, in maybe early... Well, I shouldn't get that far ahead. So after doing that for a while, a new radio station opened up here in Salinas called KMXZ 93.5, The Mix. And a guy that I was working with from the record pool, who owned the record pool, see, this was weird. The guy started the record pool, but he didn't know how to do it. So that he brought me in. He said, well, you know all the DJs. You know how to, you're good organizational skills and everything. So you run it, I'll own it, and we'll split the profits. Well, the profits came in, and I wasn't getting my half.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, so
well, half is a lot.
Yeah. What are you really doing? Well, I'm fucking going and I'm distributing the records. I'm going to every club. I'm going to every radio show. I'm, going to people's houses, dropping records off, getting feedback.
Yeah.
But you could just sit back and get half. Okay, whatever.
Let's bring it back a little bit. So record pools. So back in the day, like a music label would have all these songs and wouldn't know if it's a hit or not until they would send it to these DJs, and then they get the feedback and be like, all right, we're going to push this one.
Like literally, like at the office where the record pool was, like Sony Music would send boxes of like, each box would have 30 copies of a 12-inch and promo copies. And we'd go and we'd, distribute them and take them around, get the feedback, then we'd fax it back. And that's how, they gauge what is good for this market, what's not good for this market. So yeah, so
regional stuff too, right? It's a big thing, right?
Right. It used to be before all the record labels went to shit.
Yeah.
And everything now is just all digital platforms.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, what's a play nowadays, right? What's a stream, dude? What's a stream nowadays?
That's what, and let me say this for the most important thing, and I'll say this to the camera because I'm like talking to you, but I'll say this to the camera. Radio still fucking matters. All right, all this streaming stuff, that's all well and good, but what is in every single car?
Yeah,
not a laptop, not a computer. Some cars have computers, but there's a radio in every car.
Yeah.
Radio still matters.
Yeah, big.
So.
I remember I got when I had a job I got a Chevy Volt and that thing had XM radio for the first I think year or so for free, right? And after that thing went up, I bought it because I couldn't go without it. I love that shit, you know what I mean? I was going through the comedy stations, a Sirius XM in the morning, all that stuff, right? Like and yeah, dude, like cars are still being sold, radios are still being played. Like, yeah, it's a lot of people that say, "Oh, your radio's done," and this and that, but it's like, nah, it's. I mean, to be honest, when I went to go meet up with you at BK, I had the radio on. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
I drive around the satellite all day. That's all I listen to in the car. The satellite. Because I can't listen to commercial radio because it's so. There's more commercials on commercial radio than there is music.
100%.
So,
why is that? You're in the business, right? You would know.
Well, it's because the radio industry is so lacking in good quality music commercially that they have to sell so many advertisements to make up for the hour, to fill the hour. Because otherwise, they'd just be playing the same 5 songs all the hour. So they have to spice it up with commercials, which it backfires because nobody wants to hear all these commercials.
Yeah.
You hear 30 seconds of commercial and you turn it off.
So why don't DJs play, like, let's say, other music? Is it because you have to pay those labels now because you're playing that music?
Well, if you're a commercial radio station, you have to pay licensing fees to the music publishing and the record companies. Community radio and college radio, because they're non-profit and they're non-commercial, we don't pay any fees. We just play what we want, and it's all good.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, commercial radio and satellite radio, they have to pay fees, which is why, subscription rates go up for satellite. It happens. But the difference between satellite radio and commercial radio is satellite radio doesn't have any commercials.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
kind of like built into the broadcast, right?
Right.
Yeah, people like, all right, ad read, you know what I mean? So they'll do that.
Right. So, like, yeah, that, and also satellite, because it's there's so much of it is visual with the units. They can, like, put ads on the screen.
Yeah.
As opposed to, like, wasting the airtime with it.
That's so true.
Like commercial radio, if you're just listening to, like, say you're listening to KDON or KMEL, you can't see that. All you can do is hear it. So that's why you have to hear all the commercials.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. So you've been a radio DJ for a while then?
So I started, like I said, at hanging out at KZSC in the fall of 1991.
Okay.
Then in April of 1993, I got a show on KMXZ 93.5, The Mix, and that lasted for 2 months. And then they let me go, and I knew the program director at KHDC, which is a community radio station, and I told him, I said, I had the bug in me. I was like, I gotta be on the radio.
Yeah.
So I told him, I said, hey, whatever slots you got for me, I'll come in. I gotta be on the radio. So initially in August of 1993, I was doing substitute shows for a guy who they didn't know if he was going to come back or not.
Okay.
And this was on Saturday nights. So I did that for about 5 weeks, and they finally determined that he wasn't coming back. So they said, you know what? Saturday night, it's your show. Go for it. So that's why I officially say, even though I had started in August doing the substitute shows, I say that officially I was at KHDC from September 93 till now. So we're coming up on 30 years.
Damn, 30 years.
Yeah.
What is that like? You already did your silver anniversary, right?
That's 25.
That's 25. You already did your silver, dude.
Yeah.
Hell yeah! Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's tight. That's
Thank
tight,
you.
dude.
Yes.
Yeah. I would say like you're like one of the pillars like in the community out here. You know what I mean? For hip hop.
Well, I look at it like this. Everybody, all the DJs in this area, the 831, formerly the 408, Monterey Bay, Santa Cruz, Monterey County, Santa Cruz County, 95% of them can trace their history back to Bubba G. Scotch. And then Bubba G. Scotch was the first wave. He was the one who introduced hip-hop to this area. And then you had a couple other DJs. You had Mike Nardone at KSPB out in Pebble Beach. You had Master Kurt at
Master Kurt
at KUSP in Santa Cruz.
Yep.
Then came Jason D. Then came the Verbal Tech. The Verbal Tech was the one who put me on at KHDC. Jason D put me on at KZSC with him. And so then then there were also other DJs in the mid 90s. There was the Grinch up at KZSC. There was DJ Echo. There was Barney Rubble. The Bomb Productions had their shot on KHDC for like a year.
Yeah.
I think in 97 or 98, somewhere around there. And then, but yeah, all the while all those are going on, I'm there as well. So like, I learned from Bubba G. Scotch and Master Kurt and Jason D and Verbal Tech, and then once everybody like kind of like just faded away, I'm like the last man standing.
Yeah.
You know, so I take great pride in that, and I think I'm holding it down out here.
Hell yeah, dude.
For hip hop.
So what inspired you to get the techniques and start cutting it up, man, or just spinning?
Well, in 1984, there used to be a club in Santa Cruz called Club Culture, and it was downtown, right across from the bus station. And every Saturday night, Bubba G. Scotch would play there. So I had heard Bubba on the radio, and I was a huge fan of his radio show. So
this was in Santa Cruz.
In Santa Cruz, yes. 418 Front Street. It just recently got demolished.
Yeah.
Because they're putting in some
whole new complexes there.
Yeah, all kinds of new shit.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So I went to the club because it was like the B-boy club. You went there on Saturday nights, and all the breakers were there, graffiti artists were there, everything. It was a hip hop club. And
probably the 418 now, huh? Right? Was that the 418 area?
Yeah. It was 418, and it later became the 418 Project.
There you go.
Yep.
Yep.
So, and shout out to Richard Walker. He was the guy who owned the club. Oh. He owned Club Culture.
Shout out.
So, going there and being inspired by Bubba on the radio, and then seeing him play live and rock the crowd and just have that energy, I was like, wow,
I want to do that.
I was like, yes, I love it. So and then obviously seeing Jam Master Jay, Grand Mixer DST with Herbie Hancock on Rocket, and also we would get there was a station from LA that we would get on AM radio 1380 K-Day. And that was on Saturday nights, and they had the Mix Masters. Julio G, Tony G, Hamburger Helper. I think Dr. Dre was a part of that.
Oof.
And those mixes, AM radio goes a lot farther than FM. So, and it was funny because we would get it up here, but it would blend in with a Mexican station. So you would be hearing some dope, electro hip hop, but
and then the trumpet goes.
Then you would hear like a tuba, and you'd be like, "Wait, what the fuck's going on here?"
The accordion. And
yeah. So you had to have it just right with the antenna, But no, it was good times, man. The early mid '80s was just fun times, man.
Hell yeah. What are the big overcomings, or what are adversities that you've overcome in your career?
Well, aside from being vertically challenged, because I'm not that tall, adversities.
Let's say when like getting that paycheck from that guy, right? That was probably like one of the big things.
You know, there's a lot of things I've done that I don't necessarily get credit for because I was more of I've always had in my head like I learned this from my parents, my mom especially. When you have a job, just put your head down and do the job.
Yeah.
And you know, so I tend to, when I make a commitment to something, I want to see it through, and I don't necessarily like speak up for myself like, hey, I should be getting this. I'm like, okay, well here's the work.
Yeah.
So there's something that I don't know if you even know about this, but in the early 90s there was a Bay Area monthly newsletter type thing called The Bomb Magazine. It was a hip-hop magazine. And it was actually like a newsletter. It was, you know, printed out in black and white, and he would staple it together, and, you know, you would like buy it in, you know, different record stores and whatnot throughout the Bay Area. So the in 1992, in February of 1992, while I was working with the record pool, I was also working with a production company, an event promotion company called F-Force Productions. And we had brought, in November of 91, we had brought Cypress Hill to Santa Cruz when they had maybe been out a week.
Yeah.
So like hardly anybody knew about them. So we brought them to the Vets Hall in Santa Cruz, and the place was sold out. It was fucking packed. It was Sendog's birthday, so Mellow Man Ace was a surprise, you know, showed up.
Oh.
And
91.
91. In November 91. A week later, we had another event that we were going to be promoting. So we went out to Watsonville on a cruise night. And we were walking, me and the other guy, Frank Sosa, we were walking up and down by, I believe it was Ramsey Park.
Okay.
And every car that was going by was playing Cypress Hill. And we were like, fuck yeah, we fucking were onto something here. So, fast forward to that. So, February of 92, Frank and I attended a music convention up in San Francisco called the Gavin Convention.
Yeah.
And we were in a conference, one of the seminars, workshops or whatever it was, and they were talking about stuff, and we were, you know, in the seats and, you know, in the audience. And behind us was the guy who owned the record pool.
Yeah.
Lachlan. So he hears Frank and I talking, and Frank and I were talking about like, yeah, you know, we should do like an alternative to the Bomb, you know, magazine. We should like put together a newsletter. And we were just like talking about it. Nothing ever came from it, you know. A few months later, Frank and I had a falling out, and we, you know, ceased working together. But so in the round, I'm gonna say maybe June of 92, while I'm working in the office of the record pool, Lachlan comes in. He's like, "Hey, whatever happened with that newsletter you and Frank were gonna do?" And I said, you know, nothing ever happened with that. You know, we had the name, we knew what we were gonna call it, but nothing ever happened with that. He's all, "Well, why don't we start doing that?" He's all, "I'll fund it, and you know, you handle the." He didn't necessarily say it, but it was implied, and that's the way it came to be. I handled the creative part.
Yeah.
So that magazine was 4080 magazine, and so if you go back to the early issues of 4080 magazine, 92, 93, 94, 95, probably 85% of the content of that magazine, from record reviews to artist interviews to editorials, etc., was all written by me, just under different names. You know, like one was Oz here and Kazzeo here, and my real name in another one, and you know, just
to make it seem like it was a bunch of writers in the group.
Exactly. So, again, that magazine started making a lot of money from advertising.
Yeah.
And they started getting distribution, etc., and I didn't see any of the benefits from that.
Wow.
So in probably 90, I think 95, maybe a little bit of 96 was when I left.
Yeah.
And I did, you know, my favorite thing on there, if you listen, I forget what the song is, but there's an E40 song, and he's talking about reading 4080 magazine with Cool Keith on the cover, And in that interview with Cool Keith, he mentioned something about, oh yeah, I like E40. And so him referencing that, I wrote that interview with Cool Keith. So I was like, that kind of like made me feel good. I was like,
hell
cool,
yeah,
man,
yeah.
cool.
You're like cemented in the hip hop.
Yeah,
on record, dog.
So a lot of people, while it may be a legend in the Bay Area, in the hip hop scene, 48 Magazine, generally the credit goes to the people say, oh, that's Lachlan's magazine or that's Scotty's magazine.
Yeah.
Scotty Gordon, I believe. Scotty Gordon bought it from Lachlan.
Yeah.
And then I think it like went out of business or whatever. But
Lachlan not mentioning that you were the writer for all that.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't get credit for that, but those who know.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I guess that's like a big thing in this industry, right? Where a lot of people take credit for not their work, right? You know what I mean? So yeah, that's just one of the things. All right, well, from the negative to the high point, what are like one of your high points in your careers, man?
Oh Jesus, man. There've been. I mean, are you talking about on the radio or something that came from the radio?
Let's do both.
Okay. The amount of events that I have DJ'd in the Santa Cruz County, Monterey County area is, a very high amount of events.
30 years, yo.
I'm proud to say that I've DJ'd every club in Santa Cruz County, most of the schools in Monterey County, but the thing that came from the radio station that I'm most, I guess, is like the biggest highlight. In 1996, a local promoter named Generous J and a club called Palookaville.
Yep.
They brought Run DMC to Santa Cruz. And I was the DJ that night at that show. And I got to meet Run DMC for the first time. And just saying I DJ a show with Run DMC, that's like...
Yeah, right? I DJ'd for Run DMC.
That's, I mean... So we're at sound check. And the bummer of that night, which will be alleviated later on in the story.
Yeah.
The bummer of that night, during sound check, only Run and Jam Master Jay came.
Yeah, I was going to say, where's DMC?
So he stayed at the hotel during sound check. So we're backstage during sound check, and I'm sitting on the couch, and I'm talking to Run, and I get pictures with Run, and this is so wild, because I have my little recorder, and I'm like getting a drop from Run. And just like maybe like 3 feet away, Jam Master Jay is like talking to some girl. And Run is doing the drop. He's like, yo, this is Run. And just like almost like on cue, Jam Master Jay. And he leans in, puts his name in, and it goes back to talking to the girl. And then I get the radio drop, and I'm like, wow, that's just like so professional.
Yeah.
Like they just know
what to do.
To do that shit. Like they're aware of everything that's going on. Like, multitasking. So I thought that was so cool. So I'm DJing at the club that night, and where I was DJing at, there was like the artist entrance to like go to the backstage, and as I'm DJing, I looked down, and because I was like maybe like a foot or so off the ground, like it was like a little platform,
yeah.
And then there was the regular, and I looked down and I see Run DMC, all three of them walk by, and I was like, oh shit. Run DMC.
Yeah.
I felt like I was in Crush Groove or some shit, right?
Yeah.
So, fast forward to, I believe, 2008. And through social media, through just, messaging back and forth, I coordinated it, and I got to do a 1-hour phone interview on my show with DMC. And I was like, that's my favorite radio interview that I've ever done. Almost a full hour with DMC.
And what's up? And what's up with that? You don't have like the audio, the raw, the master, and then they can upload it, or
all the interviews, all my radio shows. You can go to mixcloud.com/DJ_Kazzeo, Kazzeo. All my shows are up there. I have over 2,000 shows loaded up on my Mixcloud channel.
Tight.
So hundreds of interviews, music, all kinds of shit, man.
They need to be on YouTube.
No,
it's a lot of work. It's going to be a lot of work, but they
eventually
should be on YouTube.
You know, I started doing that where I would just like, I gotta get back to it. I started something on my YouTube channel. I do have a YouTube channel.
Yeah. I've seen it actually.
Yeah.
Tom sent me that. You have an interview with Verbal Tech, and he's talking about DJ Dren, and I think he sent me that clip.
Yeah. I have a whole little thing I put together called Hip Hop in the 831 on the air. And it spotlights Bubba G. Scotch, Cubmaster Kurt, Jason D, myself, Verbal Tech, and Kane, because those were the main hip hop radio DJs on the radio in succession, in order. You know, so I wanted to do that. But also I have a thing on there called Talking All That Kaz, and I did start putting up interview clips where it was the audio and just like a picture of the artist. And I said, you know, the date when it happened and everything. I gotta get back to doing that. There's probably about like 30 or 40 of those up. I gotta get back to doing more. I've got tons more.
100%. That's what I'm saying, dude. There's like, you got gold, man, and then it's like no diss to Mixcloud or Mixcraft. You know what I mean? I've never heard of that website, so yeah, you're telling me.
Mixcloud is a European web hosting site, and so I get a lot of listening from like around the globe,
from over there,
Europe and stuff. So I've actually had people contact me and ask me to buy my entire archives. I'm like,
nah,
no,
that's crazy. You know what's when people say where hip hop lives out there. It's in Europe right now. Hip hop moved from America, East Coast, then West Coast, and then the South, and then said, I'm done, and then moved over there.
Well, I think any genre of American music, regardless if it's hip-hop, country, R&B, whatever, it's more appreciated outside the United States than it is in the United States.
After it's like prime years, you know what I mean? Because I remember, like, I was like at the end, 2008, 2009, when like the battle scene even started changing to like premeditated rap shows, and it's like, you know who you're battling and you get to write down your stuff. Before it was off the cuff, you get thrown to the lions, and hopefully you cut, and it's like your skill right there on point. You don't get to practice, you don't get to rehearse, and then people would be like, yo, they're dope, oh, this guy's whack, you know what I mean? And it was just like super raw, you know, super, and that doesn't exist here no more. It's gone. It's done. You know.
I literally like those MC battle things that you're talking about. What was the main one, like King of the Decks or
King of the Dot now? Yeah. It's
I remember
all that stuff.
I don't know if it was that platform, but I remember seeing one of those, and literally some dude showed up and he pulled out a notebook and started like reading his fucking rhymes. I was like,
bro, did you see the Cannabis rap battle?
Maybe that was it.
It was Cannabis versus Disaster. It was King of the Dot. And because it was supposed to be premeditated, right? So you know who you're battling, And Disaster is a beast. Freestyle or written, whatever. This guy's, he's up there for the rapping. His music never took off. And so I guess Cannabis, like the story was like Cannabis was all like, yeah, I'll battle anyone. And Organic was like, okay. And they literally threw him to like the guy. Right? And I remember when everyone was talking about that, like all the battle rappers, like the ones people don't really know, like Dumbfound Dead and fucking DNA and Disaster and whatnot, they're all saying, yeah, Disaster's gonna destroy them. And then you see like Ice Cube and be like, yo, I got my money on Cannabis. You know what I mean? And it's like, Cannabis did not come prepared. Poor Cannabis got embarrassed. You know what I mean? And that's just what it is, though, bro. Like I feel like if before you used to be dope, and you don't even have to be ready because I'm dope, and now you have to be ready because you don't know what these guys have ready for you because they've been practicing for months. You know what I mean? Writing, and then this huge scandal about writing groups came out also before all that, right? That like all these battle rappers that are dope actually get together and they start writing bars for each other, right? So then when they go to the rap battle scene, this guy is rapping some shit that all these other badass battle rappers rap for them too, and it's just crazy. It's just crazy. So it makes me think, was Disaster's lyrics the only lyrics that were battled against cannabis, right? You know what I mean? Like,
You know, and another thing too about that is, I remember seeing there used to be a guy here in the 831 in Santa Cruz area. I'm not gonna say his name because it's not worth mentioning, but he was real like, I'm the baddest dude. He was like running around saying I'm the best. And I saw him on one of those battles, and he literally froze like the dude in 8 Mile.
oh,
He literally froze like that. He had nothing to say, and I was like, "You fucking Herb,
oh
you're
man,
fucking an embarrassment."
oh man,
And another thing I saw on those battles one time, and this really turned me off all the battle things. Two dudes that were battling, and one of the guys, I guess, was a fucking heroin addict.
yeah.
And literally mid-battle, he stopped the battle so he could fucking shoot up right there on camera.
Yo, R.I.P. Cadillac Ron. Yo.
Is that the dude?
Yeah, R.I.P. Cadillac Ron. He overdosed. On the.
I was like, man, go get yourself some help.
100%,
Stop fucking rapping.
100%.
This is bullshit, man.
R.I.P. Cadillac Ron. Yeah, that was like
And now there's people that see this, they're gonna be a slew of people saying like, fuck him, he's hating on Cadillac Ron.
Nah, but you're right though.
It's an embarrassment to fucking the culture.
To hip hop,
Yeah.
and all that stuff. Yeah, 100%. So yeah, speaking of you come from the old school. You saw hip hop come out of the dirt, sprout leaves, and then blossom into a beautiful flower, and then someone picked it up and ran with it.
Yep.
So how do you feel about hip hop in the state of like the current climate of hip hop?
Well, the current climate, see, it's tough because the term hip hop is so saturated right now that just rhyming on a song can be called hip hop.
All right, I guess, yeah.
And it'll have like no essence of, like, people say, oh, Cardi B's hip hop, Nicki Minaj is hip hop. No, they're not. They're rappers.
Okay.
They're not MCs.
But you don't think they come from the culture of hip hop?
No. Because hip hop, the way I view it, was something that you did because you felt it, and somewhere along the line, once you could start seeing that it made money, then you had people coming into it and said, this is going to be my job.
Yeah.
Hip hop's not supposed to be a job. Hip hop is supposed to be a passion.
Yeah.
So that's why when Karis once said, hip hop is something rap is something you do, hip hop is something you live. That's what that means.
Yeah.
It's like rapping is, you're doing it, but are you really hip hop?
Yeah.
You're like, if you couldn't make money from this, would you still be doing it? How many could say that they would be?
Yeah, it's true. That's true.
I'll because I damn sure don't make no fucking money from being on the radio playing hip hop every week.
Yeah.
But
you do it.
And the reason I do it is because when I was a little kid and I heard Bubba G. Scotch, and I heard him playing music that I didn't hear anywhere else, for whatever reason, that filled a void in me. That made me feel like I connect with this shit.
Yeah.
So, in my mind, there's somebody out there listening to my show that's hearing stuff that they don't hear anywhere else, and it's connecting with them.
Yeah.
And it's, being motivational. It's helping them cope with whatever, or, just being like a pleasure for them.
Yeah.
And I figured that's the payoff.
Yeah. So what is hip hop for you then?
Hip hop is I guess it's like my religion.
Yeah.
It's like it shaped every.
But music wise, like let's say, what is who is a top hip hop artist, new hip hop artist right now?
There's a female that I believe is the sharpest tongue I have ever heard in hip hop, probably in the last 20 years. Her name is Nejma Nefertiti. This girl is a monster on the fucking mic. Mm-hmm. She and works her ass off. Like, literally, there's like a new song from her at least every third day. I get another song from her.
Sweet.
I think she's really dope. They've been out for a while, but I think Dilated People's Evidence, I believe he's, a really, epitome of what hip hop is. you know, there's just so many. It's hard to just like pinpoint one. If you wanted to say like locally, like who's a local artist, I feel is like really has something, just hasn't broken big yet. Has a little bit of a following, but hasn't really gotten to the next level. And you know, she's still young. This girl from Gilroy, her name is 1AM. Mm-hmm. I'm a really big fan of hers. So
there was this chick from Gilroy, Mexican girl that also rapped pretty dope, and I think she was something with Chucks. I think her name was like something for the shoes, the Chuck Taylors. But I'm not sure. I forget her name, bro. But I remember this was like also like I'm gonna say like 7 years ago. I think that I haven't been into the game, but OG Chucks, was that her name? But that
could have been her first MC name. But
yeah. I wonder if that's her, because she was dope. She had like an old school feel and a touch.
Well, let me ask you this: did you ever like see what she looked like?
Yeah.
Okay, so 1AM is tiny. She's like not even 5 feet tall.
Yeah.
She's very small.
Yeah.
So
she looks native looking, Mexican native looking.
Yeah.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that may be the same chick.
Lot of tattoos.
Yep. Skinny, tiny little girl. Yeah, I think I know. Yeah. I think that might be her. Yeah, she's dope. She's dope.
She's very dope. She actually participated in that Tango Talento show. You know, that Spanish America's Got Talent or whatever. And they kind of, you know, they did her dirty. They kind of, you know, fucked around. Basically told her, you know, you're too American for our show. You know, you're not traditional Mexican music. So
that's funny.
Yeah. So it was kind of fucked up shit.
That's super fucked up. Did you? Yeah. Okay. You know what's crazy? Speaking of that, like there was this controversy from these Mexican artists from Washington that they went to Mexico, they interviewed them, and they asked them, oh, how do you like it out here? And then one said, oh, we're in the city, there's too much traffic, I don't like being waking up by the traffic. And then there's other kids all like, oh, I don't really like the food here, I'm kind of delicate, I like chicken, you know what I mean? And then Mexicans got pissed. And then these guys are actually born Mexicans. When their parents immigrated to Washington, and then they come back and they're like, "Well, I kind of don't really like Mexican food," and then now all Mexico hates them. You know?
I mean, you know, there's just a lot of regardless of whatever race it is. I noticed that there's a lot of when you leave the quote unquote motherland and you go somewhere else, that doesn't mean you're not you're no longer that race.
Yeah.
You grew up somewhere else.
Yeah.
But the people that are in the motherland, they get pissed off and they don't look at you like you're a real, you know, type things. Like it's not where you're from, it's where you're at.
Yeah.
You know, so
now let me play a little devil's advocate right now.
By all means, go ahead, Pacino.
Yeah. So taking it back to maybe not hip hop as a motherland, mm-hmm. but hip hop as like, you know, the way it was and mm-hmm. how you remember it and the way and then now where it's at, and you're like, nah, I'm cool off all that shit. Wouldn't you say you're kind of being what that Mexican talent group was to the homegirl, to like all these new hip hop rapper artists now, like? Because you're on the radio.
No, and I'll tell you why. Because while the style that I prefer and the ethics that I prefer in hip-hop is dwindling and not as prevalent as it was mm-hmm. when I first started, it's still out there. And I just dig for it and I find it.
Yeah.
You know, nothing is impossible to find, but there's, you know, a lot of people are too lazy to look.
Yeah.
That's why you hear people saying, oh, hip-hop's dead. Hip-hop's dead. You know, for my age. And I'll never say that. Hip-hop is not dead. You just have to look for it.
Yeah.
So, no, I feel all the equity I have in gives me the right to have an opinion on what I see out there, but I don't knock anybody in the sense like, go ahead, you're getting paid, go do your thing.
Yeah.
You're not for me. I don't consider you hip hop, but other people do, so cool. Go do your thing.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna knock anybody like that. But you won't hear me playing any Drake, any fucking Migos, any of that garbage.
But what about
because
like,
to me it's garbage.
Yeah, no, I feel it.
Personally.
I feel it.
It makes money, cool. It puts food on your table, cool. At the end of the day, you have to support yourself.
Yeah.
Go do your thing. But you're not for me.
What about like a local artist that he's producing those beats, he's writing his stuff, and then he goes up to you and be like, check out my music, and it sounds like Drake, and you're like, sorry, kid.
Well,
I'm cool off that.
I think because that is being...
Wouldn't you call that like gatekeeping, I guess, you know?
That is being inspired by a formula. Like when I first started, 98% of the artists had an original sound. They were unique to themselves.
That's true.
And then now you have everybody sounding like everybody else.
That's 100% true.
There's no individuality. There's no diversity, kind of. In like what's considered, commercial rap and that kind of stuff. So I would say, don't listen to the radio. Just do what you feel.
Yeah, 100%.
Go in and have don't be influenced by anybody. Like, turn yourself off to the world and just make what you feel comes out of you. And that's what I would say to him.
Yeah, 100%. But like nowadays, it's like it's hard to grab inspiration from things that are not like Drake or, I mean, I guess cool right now, J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar and stuff like that, and that's cool. But even then, their sound isn't the classic hip hop sound that we kind of grew up with, right?
Kendrick is a good example because I've heard Kendrick on mixtapes and various things, and he kills it. And then I see him on Saturday Night Live doing some, I don't know what the fuck it was. I was watching, I was like, what the fuck is this?
Art.
I was like, this is not hip hop. I don't know what the fuck this is. So, he's kind of one of those hit and miss guys for me.
Yeah.
But, again, it's like, just, do what you feel, not what you think you need to feel.
Yeah.
Type of thing. I mean, it was bad enough when auto-tune completely killed
the singer.
R&B.
Yep.
Now I hear guys rapping in auto-tune. I'm just like, come on,
yeah.
man.
I mean, that's what it is. That's what it is. It's like I guess I'm trying to be like when jazz artists started doing jazz, right? And all the classical musicians were like, that's not music.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to say, don't be those guys. You know what I'm saying? Like
well, I mean,
because you're okay. Well, other than
I see where you're coming from.
Other than you,
right.
where can an artist in this area bring their music? Other than you, where could they put their music on the radio?
Well, I mean, there are new hip hop shows that are popping up. If you're looking for somebody that's like centrally focused on local music, while I have an open door to local acts,
yeah.
But again, I feel it needs to fit the style that I play.
I feel. I get it.
So if you're a local act and you don't fit that style, there are other shows that are focused on showcasing local talent themselves. And I'll give a shout out to M7, EME7, who hosts oh god, now I can't think of the Saturday Sesh.
Okay.
On KHDC 90.9 Saturday nights from 9 to midnight. And he plays a lot he pretty much plays all local stuff.
Yeah.
So if you're a local artist and you're looking for some exposure, I would say hit up EME7 at gmail.com, and he probably is a good spot for you to go to. And again, I feel, I have, being that I come from an era decades before he started his show, I have a standard that's a lot different than his.
Yeah.
And that's not putting his down. That's not saying I'm better. That's just saying we're different. So I have a format that I stick to, and I believe that's the integrity of my show. So I stick to that, And a lot of people get upset. Going back to my initial statement, a lot of people hate me. A lot of people say I'm a hater. But that's where the show came from.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's the course I stay on.
Yeah.
So while I'm okay with turning off 3 people if I can get 1. Okay. I'm okay with that. So I know that there's a market for what I do. So that's why I do it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know anybody else out here that's doing it.
Of course. So, but I feel like what time on the radio you're on?
Wednesday nights 6 to 8.
6 to 8, and that's kind of prime.
West Coast time.
Yeah, that's a good, because you're saying the Saturday show is like
9 to midnight.
9 to midnight. You know what I mean? And a lot of people are doing other things on Saturday nights. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like I don't know. I feel like maybe you're kind of hindering the hip hop scene. I don't want to say that to you directly like that. But I'm not saying that it's your fault, right? That's not what I'm trying to say. But I'm saying that you can open the doors and help out these artists. You know what I mean? A lot more. Like, I feel like the DJs here should be like instead of gatekeeping the hip hop artist, they should be like, bro, come. Well, you know what I mean?
Well, okay, so here's where I counter that. And again, if all you're saying is I'm hindering, that's like water off my shoulder. I've heard a million times worse than that.
Yeah, of course, exactly.
And none of that shit bothers me. But here's what my counter to that. I have always stated I have an open door for any local artist. If you come and you are real to hip hop and you feel hip hop and you can come and you can rhyme. And I'm not talking about come up and say like rolling down the street and I'm smoking on the bud.
You're not gonna have Salineros rap their gangster shit, right? You know
exactly.
What I mean?
Exactly. So, if you could come with what I consider to be the essence of hip hop, cool. Now there's a lot of local artists that rather than take a chance and contact me and give me some of their music to review and make a decision whether or not I want to put them on, they simply say, he's a hater, he doesn't like local. And so they go around and they, have that amongst themselves. And there's like a little contingent of that. And it's pretty much headed by one guy.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say his name because he's irrelevant. But for whatever reason, he has a little hold on a little band of people.
Yeah.
And they like to run around and say that I'm a hater and that I don't give anybody an opportunity. But I've always had an open door. If you are the essence of hip hop and you can come and spit something real and not, just do all the gangster shit and, I'm going to murder you, I'm going to roll down the street and pull out my gat and, this and that, and I'm selling pounds of coke and, all this shit's like, that's not helping hip hop. That's a black eye on hip hop.
Okay.
So
I won't back to devil's advocate.
Okay.
It's 1993.
Mm-hmm.
Would you interview NWA?
Absolutely.
Why?
Absolutely. Because NWA was groundbreaking in the sense that while Ice-T was the originator of gangster rap, NWA was the ones who really put the spotlight on it and got the eyes of the world on what was going on in the streets of the West Coast, LA, primarily, and the social issues that were happening as far as the police brutality and all that stuff. So they are, to me, NWA is basically the West Coast Public Enemy.
Yeah. I guess you could, because for their time, it was so groundbreaking. Mm-hmm. It's like, I can't believe they're saying this on the records, like especially because radio stations wouldn't play that stuff.
And think about it. They were the first gangster rap group.
Yeah.
Okay? How many spawned off of that? Okay. So once you go from like the original source to all the watered down shit.
Yeah, so now a little more. It's today. Mm-hmm. A group just like NWA is coming out and asking you for a spot. Mm-hmm. Would you interview them?
I'd have to hear what they were talking about. Because again,
but it's the same song, Fuck the Police. The same thing.
If they came out with a song called "Fuck the Police,"
and it's still, I'll shoot you in the head and you let your wig's hanging.
See, I wouldn't interview them because NWA already did that. It's not original.
I guess, you know what I'm saying? But they're it's the same thing, but it's just they have these lyrics that they're killing the police. You know what I mean? Or they're ops. But it's, you know what I'm saying? It's MC Red.
Again, I would have to hear it.
I feel it. I understand.
Because,
I get it.
Because at the point I'm at now, I don't just put, somebody can't just hand me something and I'll say, okay, I'm going to play this. I have to listen to everything. Of course, yeah. I mean, it's my responsibility to present the best product that I feel not only fits the show, but is something that needs to be heard.
Yeah.
So, I'm not going to just like, if some, John Smith off the street says, hey man, check out my new tape. Okay, I'll go home and listen to it. What, you can't play it right away? No, I can't play it right away. Like there was, okay, and this is funny. There was, you mentioned the name earlier. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say, he's affiliated with, that name that you mentioned. And he put out some song and had emailed it to me. And the same day he emailed it to me, I was going to the show, going to do my radio show. So I didn't have time to, download it and review it and everything.
Yeah.
So as soon as I get to the station, the request line starts ringing. And it's friends of his calling, requesting his song, saying, why can't you play a song? Play a song, play a song, play a song. So finally, one of them was a female. And I said, look, I'm not going to play something until I listen to it first. And I have to make sure that it fits. So right away, he goes on the internet and starts saying, he's a fucking hater. Fuck this guy. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
It's like, this is why you're not on the radio.
Yeah.
Because this is your attitude.
Yeah.
You don't understand how the process works.
Yeah. True.
So
that's crazy. I would like to know what artist it is. I'm thinking Tom, but Tom doesn't rap. You know what I mean? No. But yeah.
I'll tell you when we cut the
mics. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, dude, like I guess the problem is like the way the industry went, right? You know what I mean? Like back in the day, it was like broken glass everywhere. People walk around like they just don't care. Can't stand the smell. You know what I mean? Like, and they're talking about
money to move out, so I got no choice.
Yeah, and they're talking about their community and how they don't like their community, and they're speaking up on it. But if you do it now, you're not just a rapper. You're a conscience rapper. Mm-hmm. And nobody wants to hear that nowadays, right? Like that's what they're saying, right? And it's like when if you remember, when did when did it change from you're a dope MC to now you're a conscious MC? When do you think that happened?
I would say probably maybe mid-90s.
Yeah.
Around there. And yeah, see, that's another thing. When you put labels on it, like that conscious rapper, political rapper,
yeah.
When you use all these different adjectives, that turns people off.
Yeah.
If you just say, I'm a rapper, I'm an MC, listen to my music. And then you listen to it, okay, that's cool. This is not for me.
Yeah.
So make the decision that way. But by putting adjectives in front of what you are, you're automatically predisposing people to have an opinion of you without them actually knowing what you're doing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I try not to get caught up in classifying, this, that, and whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Because and it only happened to that
would be my advice to a new artist. I say, don't classify yourself as something. Just say you're a hip hop artist.
Yeah.
That's all you need to say.
Yeah, that's true. Because when you classify yourself, or I guess putting labels on your stuff, you're kind of just limiting what you do, right? Because I rap, right? I'm a rapper. I'm an artist, and I guess to me, I could rap on anything. And the thing is, it's because different beats make me rap differently. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? There's I go and then there's other ones where I'm and trying to harmonize, and then it's just depending on where the music takes me. I feel like.
See, again, that right there, you're doing what you feel.
Yeah.
You're not doing what you think you should do. You're letting the music get into you, then you're, flowing it out.
And then I have met rappers that, oh, not this beat. I can't do this beat. I can't do this beat. Because they're trying to fit this mold, right? And it's like, my sound doesn't sound dope on this. Well, then change it up a little bit, bro. This beat's dope. Well, I'm not rapping on that. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh, I get it. You know what I mean? Because these rappers are, I guess, street guys. And they want to rap on street beats, right? And talk about these street stuff, right? So this fucking beat with the fucking piano and the violin doesn't fit for them, I guess, or whatever the fuck, right?
That always used to be the thing that, like, really, I mean, obviously I'm older now, and so, like, I'm, calmed down. But it really used to get to me, like, back in the day when Robotech was still alive and he was hosting the show and I was, DJing and mixing and backspinning. And we would have people calling over the phone and say, I want a freestyle. Okay, throw on a beat. Oh, I can't rap to that beat. Well, okay. Throw him another one. Nah, give me something else. If you're going to freestyle, you rhyme to what you're given. Yeah. You don't get to choose. And so that used to, like, then in my head, I would tell Muhammad, I'd say, cut them off, because, they don't want to freestyle.
Yeah.
They just want to hear their own voice.
They just want to hear their beat. Yeah. Like, all right, I can rap on this beat. You know what I mean? And it's just like, yeah. 100%.
This isn't Burger King. You don't get it your way.
Yeah. It's true.
We just came from Burger King.
Hey, but you know what, though? Because, like, as an MC, and I remember I used to freestyle off the cuff and battle with people and this and that. And it's like you test your steel, dude, And it's like, yeah, when you go to the DJ, to the records, to the station, and the DJ plays a beat, one thing that I used to hate about rappers, I'd be like, I ain't rapping on that. And then they would get in an argument with the DJ and whatnot and talk about the beats and this and that. And then like a really famous one was I think, what was his name? Not Juice WRLD. It was the other guy, Little Uzi. And it's a viral clip, and he's like, I ain't rapping on those old beats, right? And there was, and then he left that interview, and then in my head I'm like, what's wrong with the old beats? What's wrong with you that you can't rap on this? You know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about?
It's so well known that it should be already in your head. Like, you don't have to, like, think, like, how you're going to fit to it. You should already know how to fit to it. So here's an advice to local, or not local, but up-and-coming rappers who, have that, like, oh, I need this beat or that beat. If you go to a DJ and he's, like, plays a beat for you and you don't like it, instead of, like, saying, give me something else, say, you know what? I'll just go a cappella. That is less insulting to a DJ than saying, give me something good. Yeah. Give me something better. Because we're already thinking this is a dope beat for you to rhyme to. And if you're saying, no, that's not good enough, give me something else. That's like telling the DJ he's making a mistake. Yeah. And you don't ever want to piss the DJ off.
Yeah.
So just say, it's cool, I'll go a cappella.
Yeah. Oh, I feel that. That's funny, dude. Because that's like the moment. That's like when you're telling the rapper, oh, I don't know, rap it like this and rap it like that. Then the rapper gets mad, and then when you tell a DJ, oh, I don't know about this beat. This beat's whack. The DJ gets mad. That's funny. I've never thought about it like that. That's like the construction criticism to a DJ, then, huh? Right? Like, that choice of music is not good, right?
Well, I remember one time I was DJing at this at a house party. And so they cleared the living room out, like they made the dance floor.
Hell yeah.
So I'm DJing, I'm playing music, and everybody's fucking dancing.
When was this?
90
something? 2000
maybe mid 2000s.
Okay.
So I'm DJing, and everybody's fucking dancing. The guy who owned the house, whose party it was, comes up to me, he's like, dude, nobody likes what you're playing. Play something that people could dance to. I go, motherfucker, look. Everybody's fucking dancing. He's like, well, it's my party. I go, all right, what do you want to hear? And he tells me what he wants to hear. I play it. Dance floor clears. I said, are you happy now? Motherfuckers just need to learn to shut up.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, 100%. Especially because, like, you're a DJ.
I know how to do my job. Yeah, you don't need to tell me what to do.
Yeah, 100%. 100%, dude. That's what's up. Hey, let the DJs do their job, motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly.
Yeah. How do you see DJ nowadays? Like, because back in the day, it used to be vinyl, and you'd be like, this beat kind of matches this tempo, and then I can get the cuts going, and then it'll intersect, and it'll transition good. And then nowadays, DJs can't do shit if their Serato's down.
Well, this is what I feel.
Oh, my shit's not syncing. Hold on. You know.
From the era I come from, you had to DJ by ear.
Yeah.
You had to listen to the records. You had to process the tempo in your head and know where the breaks were and what would mix.
Yeah.
Now, DJing is a visual thing. You just look and say, okay, it says it's 93 beats per minute. Let me find another song that's 93 beats per minute. Okay, those will mix, and I just push the button, and that's all I have to do. There's no, playing with the pitch.
Yeah.
There's no,
the playback speed, all that shit.
Cutting it on the right break or anything like that. It's DJing has become visual and not
auditory.
Yeah. So to me, I mean, while they're doing things that may, be more intricate and whatnot, I don't feel there's a soul to it.
Yeah.
There's no more. You don't like.
It's very robotic.
Back in the day, you would see DJs and sweat would be dripping off them because they're trying to get the mix and everything right. And now you just see guys just going like that, and then jumping around, dancing and doing all kinds of this shit. A real DJ does not dance.
It's not even connected. You see the videos?
Oh yeah, I've seen those. A real DJ does not dance. He makes people dance.
Oh, that's cool. Damn.
Yeah. None of these fucking air horn shits on. Give me a mixer, a Vestax 05, 2 turntables, and a crate of records, and I'll rock your party.
Hell yeah.
That's all I need.
Hell yeah, dude.
I don't need small fog machines and strobe lights and all this other shit. That's just pouring, like, how can I say? A cheeseburger with just meat and cheese is good.
Yeah.
And you put all this other shit on it, it takes away the flavor of the burger.
Okay.
So.
But I like lettuce and onions on my burger.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, sorry, dude.
Again, no, that's fine. That's it's all good.
But I know what you're talking about.
But
though.
Me, I don't.
I
go to the heart of the matter.
Oh, that's so funny. That reminds me of a time my dad told me because he used to travel.
And I know I sound like an old dinosaur, and people are gonna say, "Look at this old motherfucker."
You sound like a German, bro. Because he was like, my dad was in Germany, and he got criticized for getting a cucumber and then putting lemon and salt on it. And they said, "Why don't you just eat the cucumber like a cucumber, right? Why you doing all this and that?" And he's all like, "No, I'm adding it all this and that. So you're a purist."
Here I'll say it to you like this. I never understood why you have to put a lime in a Corona. Isn't the beer good enough?
Yeah.
Why do you have to put a lime?
You don't have to. I drink the beers just like, but my wife, adamant, bro.
I
the lime. I'm like, baby, I'm good. No, it needs a lime.
No.
My wife's from Mexico. She's from the motherland. She was born over there, dude. So she knows, I guess, more than me.
Maybe it's a regional thing.
100%. I feel like
I don't get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So I'm cool with anybody doing what they want to do. People can classify hip hop however they want. It's all good. I see it my way, you see it your way, and that's what makes the world go round.
Yeah, 100%. 100%, dude.
Everybody has their own opinion,
Yeah.
As long as you don't, infringe on me, I'm not going to infringe on you.
Yeah.
That's why, like, even going back to, like, one of the stupidest things, and it's going to upset a lot of people, but whatever, I'm used to it.
Preach, Kaz!
You have these people that are so religious.
Mm-hmm.
Say, oh, religion is so good for you. Religion, organized religion, is the most hateful premise that there is.
Yeah.
Look at the way they do gay people.
Mm-hmm.
They do, people of
not their religion.
Yeah. Exactly. It's supposed to be. They say that it's the most inclusive, but it's the most exclusive.
Yep.
Thing you can be. So my religion is hip hop.
Yeah.
Because hip hop welcomes everybody. It doesn't matter if you're Asian, Hispanic, black, white, whatever.
You just gotta be dope.
Exactly.
You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? You just gotta be dope in hip hop.
Exactly. Exactly.
100%, dude.
Man.
Hell yeah, dude. Any word of advice for all the young DJs out there?
Don't wait for music to come to you. Go find the music. Because there's a lot of people, like a lot of young DJs, they'll just like their idea of digging for music is just to go see what got released this week on iTunes.
Yeah.
What is
trending on YouTube?
What's on Spotify?
Yeah.
No. Go to record stores. Look for, abstract records. Go find shit that like people don't know about. Because that's the premise of what a DJ does. He exposes music that people don't know about that they should know about. I always say my radio show, I don't play what people want to hear. I play what people need to hear.
Ooh.
So, and people say, well, that's what you think I need to hear. Well, okay, maybe. But you hear it and you say, oh, you know what? That's a pretty dope record. That's a pretty dope song. He was right.
Yeah. Hell yeah, bro.
Okay. So don't, I say, don't wait for the music to come to you. Go find the music.
Yeah. I feel like a good trick for me to find like dope artists, like underground stuff. Like, so I'll go to like YouTube, I'll find for producers, and then I'll look on the comment sections, and then I'll check their profiles, and then because like it's only rappers looking for beats on YouTube, right? Mm-hmm. So then I check their profiles, I'll listen to the music, and if I like it, I'll hit some people up and whatnot. You know what I mean? So I've been finding a lot of new artists that way.
Right.
Yeah.
But again, social media can be a great thing. You can connect with artists from everywhere, and I network with tons of artists all the time. But you have to do the legwork online. You can't just wait for it to come to you.
Yeah.
Like, people just, look for what got released this week and, okay, that's what I'll get. But search out stuff, because if you find one artist that you like and go to the people they're following, you're going to find 5 or 6 more artists that you probably like too.
Yeah.
So, follow the, go down the rabbit hole.
Oh, that's crazy. Now I think I know what you're talking about, and I'm saying his name. Germs told me that a long time ago. He's all like, yo, you like a rapper? Listen to who that rapper's talking about, and then find them, and then listen to them. You know what I mean? And that's how I started learning about a bunch of old, like so like Snoop talked about Coogee Rap, so then I went to go look about who Coogee Rap was, and then dope, you know what I mean? And yeah, all these rappers talk about Rakim, all them, they talk about each other. So then you go and then listen to each other, you know what I mean? And or listen to them. And that's what I did. That's what I did. Yeah, like dope rappers talk about other dope rappers, you know what I mean? So yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, 100%, dude. 100%. Yeah, dude. It's almost 4:00. I don't know how much time you got left.
Yeah, we're getting down to the wire.
We're getting down to the wire.
I gotta go do my real show.
Yeah. Your social medias, anywhere we can find you?
Okay, Instagram. I have 2 Instagrams. One is DJ Kazzeo, all one word, DJ Kazzeo. The other one I have is Talkin' All That Kaz, no G, Talkin' All That Kaz, no G. Facebook, search out Kazzeo. Twitter, Kazzeo. YouTube, DJ Kazzeo. And my Mixcloud, mixcloud.com /DJ_Kazzeo. And, or if you just want to go to djkazzeo.com, all the links are up there. You could just click on whatever link you want and you'll find me. And my shows stream live on my website every week too. So
hell yeah.
Wherever you are in the world, you can listen.
Yeah, dude. Fuck yeah. Any last words?
Shout out to you, man. I appreciate, you giving me the time to say whatever it is I said here today.
Hell yeah.
And last words, everybody always, it's very common in hip-hop to say, oh, keep it real. I always say, just keep it.
That's true, because hip-hop got up and left. It's not here no more, guys. It's in Europe. You know what I mean? It's crazy. The Europe hip-hop scene is crazy, bro.
Hip-hop, well, that's where we differ a little bit. Hip-hop is still here. You just, again, going back to what I said, you have to look for it. It's not going to come and say, "Hi, I'm hip hop. I'm here. I'm here." No, you have to go and find it.
I feel it. I feel it.
So
I feel it. But it's like, because I remember back in the day, you could just go out. Like, I would walk Pacific Avenue in Santa Cruz, 2008, 2009, and people would be outside rapping still.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do that no more. People aren't doing that shit no more, dude. You know what I mean? Like, that's done. You know, and it kind of hurts my heart. You know, but yeah. It was a pleasure, bro.
Hurts your heart. It breaks my heart.
That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
I come from the area. No matter where you went, there was a cipher. You know, or
yeah.
You know, people just around. It's like,
what are we gonna do, man? What can we do?
I just keep playing it on the radio, man.
Yeah, dude. What can we?
I do my part, man.
Yeah, you know? I feel it, brother. All right, we out of here, dude.
All right, peace.
Peace.
It's like all we do is do drugs or drink, you know what I mean? Kick it.